G-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hit that alarm bell so you know when we go live. Let's go ahead and get started. Vaxx mandate is Cloward-Piven plan to destroy USA and end capitalism. This is from the great Wayne Allen Root. He wrote for the Gateway Pundit this great article about Cloward-Piven, the Cloward-Piven strategy, which is similar to the Hegelian dialectic, which you heard me talk about for years. I've been talking about the Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Basically, you create a problem, and then once you create that problem, you come in with the solution. And government's been using it for years. This approach, and Cloward-Piven just adapted it. But again, this is written by Wayne Allen Root. Back in the 1980s, he was a Columbia University student learning about a plan to destroy America and end capitalism. It was called Cloward-Piven, named after a Columbia University husband-wife professor team. Their insane goals was to turn America into a socialist communist hellhole. They planned to do it by overwhelming and collapsing the U.S. economy with massive debt, which we're seeing right now. We're definitely in a debt crisis, created by getting as many Americans as possible on welfare, food stamps, and unemployment. And we're seeing all that right now. In the ensuing economic catastrophe and collapse of our country, every business owner would get on their knees to beg government to save them. And I'm afraid it's actually only going to get worse. It's really going to hit overdrive during the holiday season. But the article goes on to say that at the moment of crisis and chaos, we will become a socialist communist country. Don't look now, but it's happening. That's exactly what I was saying. The communists of Columbia and every other elitist Ivy League school have tried for decades to force a majority of Americans on welfare. They failed, but they won't give up. And it makes you wonder, how come all these elitists, they're all leftists, they're all socialists. I wonder how come that is. And then feign that they're actually for the people. But the article goes on to say that they've modified the plan. It's now powerful, a powerful 1-2 punch. First, they've opened the borders to let millions of illegal aliens into this country, almost all of whom want cradle to the grave welfare. And you know, that's why they're trying to push for that $450,000 up to $900,000 for families that were separated at the border. But yet, a lot of the black people that built this country is getting nothing. So it shows you where they align right now. They just jump from one thing to the other. They use black people to get the vote. Democrats used it to get the vote, and then once they got the vote, kicked us to the side. And that's what I was trying to warn people about during the election season, but we saw what happened. But the article goes on to say that also, don't forget, they all need free health care for themselves and their kids and their new babies and their extended families. They that alone could overwhelm the system and collapse the economy. I mean, it's common sense. If anyone look at it, actually study this stuff, it's common sense. We can't sustain an influx of people coming in and putting them on welfare. The country can't sustain it. We don't have enough people producing revenue, and they don't have enough taxes to actually pay for these programs. And that's what they want. They want this collapse. But that's before welfare and food stamps. And then there's free public school for all their children and expensive English as second language programs that cost billions of dollars, but make teacher unions filthy rich. And we see how powerful and how big the teachers unions are. You saw how long it took for them to actually open up the schools. Is because of the powerful teacher unions was pushing these Democrats to not open these schools. Open borders and Cloward-Piven updated for 2021, and as the greatest bonus ever, Democrats know these millions of foreigners will loyally vote for their party, who let them in and then promise to give them the biggest welfare checks. These are lifetime Democrat voters. But there is now a powerful part due to Cloward-Piven. Democrats aren't content to just welcome tens of millions of foreign welfare addicts into the U.S. They also want to make tens of millions of American-born citizens unemployed and dependent on the government too. And we're seeing this now with some of the lowest unemployment numbers. In actuality, it's not really reflecting the true unemployment numbers, because after a certain amount of time they go off of the roll. So the unemployment numbers are actually higher than it really is. These COVID vaccine mandates are destroying the country, creating chaos and division. They're wiping out the ranks of police, fire, paramedic, nurses, prison guards, border patrol, and the military. Our middle class is being ripped to shreds. These frontline heroes and defenders don't want this dangerous experimental for emergency use only jab. And that's true. There will soon be no one to answer your 911 calls. The police will be defunded without voters ever getting a vote. And again, this is by design, problem, reaction, solution. It's all by design. Cloward-Piven, however you want to call it. Cloward-Piven or Hungarian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. It's all the same. They created this mess on purpose. That's what it boils down to. The military will be left weak and crippled. Want to bet China is directing this plan. And I said from the beginning that China is behind this. That's why Biden is doing all of this stuff, because China came up with this plan. China is pushing this plan. We all know China owns Biden and his family. Biden is serving up the country on a platter to China. I mean, anyone with an ear that's listening knows what's going on right now. The GLOW mandates also make the supply chain problems much worse. Truck drivers don't want the jab. They're quitting in droves. Jet pilots don't want the jab. They're on strike now, as Southwest and American Airlines, while thousands of flights are grounded recently. If these pilots are fired, the tourism industry will be devastated. Shipping cargo by air will be devastated. Without pilots and truckers, food and supplies won't make it to stores. Shelves will be empty, just like the old communist Soviet Union. Coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence. I mean, this is this is all by design. But yeah, and the article continues on, but y'all get the gist of it. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, problem, reaction, solution, Hungarian dialectic / Cloward-Piven. That's what we're seeing right now. That's what's going on. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out the Let's Go Brandon t-shirts that we got. You can click the link below for those t-shirts. And check you guys next time.